Now, page 398 is the chicken, duck, goose, turkey, or game birds in the ball book. 398. And that's what I'm doing, is the raw pack method. To cover the poultry, leave an inch of head space and remove air bubbles. Adjust head space if necessary by adding hot liquid. Then wipe the rims and get the lids and the jars screwed down on them and get them put in the canner. You can can by just getting the breast meat, or you can can by getting a whole chicken and then deboning it and using the breast meat for that, or the other meat, or however you want to do it. It's just up to you, personal choice. I'm going to peel the skin off. Try to get as much of the meat off of here as possible. I'm sure there's a lot of better ways to do this, but I'm not professionally trained or anything, and I'm not letting that stop me, the fact that I don't know how to do this the best way. The main thing is just to get your meat off the bone. Let's see if I can get some more off of here. It doesn't matter if it comes off in little pieces, because it's going to end up cut up and put in pieces anyway in the jars for the broth. I'm going to do raw pack. I got me a bowl sitting here waiting for my pieces. That's one breast, and that's over a jar's worth of meat, I bet. Pint size jars is what I use. This is the easy way, when you just buy the boneless, skinless packs of breast meat, and then you just cut them up. This is definitely the easy way, instead of having to debone your chicken. And you want to make sure, some of these pieces are kind of big, that your pieces aren't real big going into the jar, because it would not cook as even. You want them to be cube sized. And you just keep doing that till you get all your breast meat. Alrighty. And start putting it in the jars. I'm just going to stuff them in for the moment, because I'm trying to hurry. Move it around and get as much of that water out of there. I mean, as much as the air out as you can. See, I got too much in my jars, I believe, because you need an inch of head space for the chicken. Y'all see how the air comes out, hopefully. I'll get my water in there. I think I got all the air out of that one now. Just plain white vinegar on a paper towel or a towel to clean your jar rim. And you just keep going jar to jar till you get them all done. This is going to be what you call a double stacker because of how much I have. Since the chicken is cold in the jars, I'm going to start by just turning my burner on to low and give it a chance for everything to get to the same temperature. And you just set it on top and then put the jars in. Now I'm going to have 1 or 2 open spots, so what I'm going to do is get me some filtered water from the refrigerator. Since everything is still cold, there's room for at least 1 more jar right here. I'll put a jar full of water in there and go ahead and can it with the rest of it. And what that does is helps keep it from anything getting knocked over. But also that canned water run through the pressure canner like that is actually sterile. So it's sterile water that I can put on the shelf. It's always handy to have some sterile water on hand. This is going to take time for it to all heat up. It had been a while since I double stacked, a few years, and so I jumped on Google and checked on the Presto site, since it's a Presto Canner, and found out that with that double stack, I didn't have to have water an inch over the top of those top jars. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my arrows. And then it just turns to slide on there. Right here, you line up that arrow with this mark. And once that lid is in that position, then you can turn it to close. If you don't have it in the right position, it won't close. Got my heat up on high, got my jars in there. Just gotta wait for steam to start coming out of here. You know when it's steaming to the point where that thing's fixing to pop, that means it's about time to put the weight on it. You can see the steam coming out of there really good now. It's not just start, stop a little bit. It's a bunch. There it goes. Whoop. Okay, so 10 minutes. You want to make sure it's steaming really good for 10 minutes before you put your weight on it. You just keep an eye on it as it goes along, so that's what I'm going to be doing. 3, 2, 1, wait time! Just so you don't get burned, grab it with a pot holder and just stick it on there. And then sit and watch your pressure. Anytime you're pressure canning, if that pressure jumps up and it gets way up there and you start getting over here, you're headed for trouble. The canner will be fine. You won't have any problems as long as you watch it. It'll take it 5 or 10 minutes to get up to that almost 10. But you can see it's already climbing. Just don't touch that canner while it's hot, because it'll burn you. Okay, it's getting close to 10, so I'm going to start cutting it back. I'm going to cut it from high heat to about medium right off the bat, because I already know that it's going to continue to climb. Number one, it's an electric stove, so it takes longer for it to cool down. But I also know from past experience that by the time it gets up to pressure, I'll probably be down in the simmer. Once I can get it up there to 12, I'm going to go ahead and start my timer with the hopes that as I decrease the heat down, I don't drop under 12. When it hits 10 or right past it, I'm going to go ahead and cut my heat back, probably just about down to above simmer, since I know that that's about the range where I'm going to need to be. Once you get it to the pressure that it needs to be at, which for us is like 12 pounds of pressure, 90 minutes. Okay, it's still slowly climbing. It's been about 5 or 6 minutes, and it's went from a little over 12 to now it's at 13. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down a little bit more. Just kind of a medium simmer. Okay, it's been about another 7 minutes, and it's at 13.5. So it has still been climbing slowly. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it back a little bit more. So now it's on low simmer. And I'm going to have to really keep an eye on it, because I had already set my timer. So if it starts decreasing in pressure, then I'll have to up the heat again just a hair. So I'm down to 1 hour and 8 minutes left on it since it's been above 12. So that's where we're at. So it's been almost 15 minutes. It's just a hair below 13. Ouch. I touched it. It's hot. Y'all be careful because this thing gets hot. And that's on that low simmer. So I'm keeping a close eye on it to make sure I don't have to restart my timer. As long as it don't drop below 12, we're good. Okay, it's only been a couple minutes since I turned it down, and it's still decreasing, so I'm going to turn my heat back up a hair. I don't know if you can see them little dots below. I had it down on that second dot, so I've turned it back up to that third dot. And see, we're at 52 minutes left. Okay, timer's going off. That last little adjustment that I did kept it right on 13. Now I just turn the heat off and just let it sit. Now that the heat's off, it's going to slowly cool down. When it's all the way down here to 0, then take a pot holder and release your weight. Then wait another 10-15 minutes before you try to open the lid. And that's if you don't get any steam coming out, shooting out of that when you take the weight off. I'm at 0 pressure. I'll go ahead and take this off. It's been long enough. There's no steam coming out, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes since I took the lid off, and it's had a chance to cool down a little bit, so I'm going to start pulling them out. It sounded like one already pinged down here in the canner, still in the water. As you can see, some of them are still bubbling. They'll do that while they cool down. Well, one didn't seal, so I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And I'm going to take the rings off and check the other ones. It's kind of slick. I'll try not to dump it, so I'm holding it from underneath. Checking my seal. Yeah, if you can hold them from the lid, then you're good. The canned chicken is done. Now this is what the canned chicken looks like once it's totally cooled down. I need to come back, wipe my rims off, and date them. It's just handy to have it like that. So I hope that the canning chicken video helped somebody out, like my canning beef video. As you can probably tell, I've been busy in the kitchen canning. I hope y'all have a good one.